Yo, 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 welcome to the Wild That's Crazy podcast. Welcome back, people. Thank you for anybody watching for the first time. Thank you for checking us out. Thank you so much. This is season 2, episode 21, and I'm glad to have you guys back. Thank you so much. I'm excited to have my guest on, Kim, and I'll introduce her in a minute. But before we start with Kim, I want to talk about a few things. First thing is, it's getting cold outside and it's fall slash winter coming up. I want to please advise people, please be safe. This is the time of the year where people trying to get you, rob you, stick you up, and around this time it get really tricky. So please make sure you watching your surroundings. Please, women, ladies, please make sure you're getting gas throughout the day. Please make sure you warming up that car. Please make sure you watch your surroundings. And fellas, just be careful, man. Please. You know, people hungry. It's the holiday time of the year. These numbers go up around this time. So please make sure you're being safe. Make sure you're watching your back. Make sure you doing everything you could do to prepare yourself not to get in situations. I want to say get well soon to my Aunt Heather and the family. I'm praying for you guys. I love you. Um, Sports real quick. My Michigan Wolverines, great win. We got knocked Penn State out this week. And with the Lions. Thank you, Lions. The way you guys keep losing me money every year. Thank you guys. But I'm still rock with y'all because y'all the home team. But man, it hurts being a Lions fan. It hurts. I just knew we was going to at least play good today, but it is what it is. And with that being said, I want to introduce my guest. I'm so glad she's here. Kim, welcome.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. You ready?
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
All
And I
right.
learned something new about Kim. I didn't know Kim was the greatest sign ever. I didn't know she was a Virgo. So
Yes.
it's always good to talk to a fellow Virgo. So, Kim, before I lay down everything about Kim, let you guys know one reason, and the main reason I wanted Kim on, besides she's a cool, beautiful woman, I wanted her on because um, through friends and seeing Kim at work and doing whatever, I found out Kim's a therapist. I love therapists. So I was looking forward to having a great conversation with her, and I got a few topics that I want to run by her. Now these people, Kim's not that familiar with. She know who they are, but I'm gonna introduce the people and the situations, and you're gonna give throw your therapist hat.
You want me to give my personal opinion
You
or
could
my
give both.
therapeutic
You
opinion?
can get both.
Okay.
So you can start off whichever one you want first. So I'll lay out the person, and you guys can do this at home too. Like you could give your take, you could give your opinion. Just don't throw nothing at the TV or nothing like that, because these people are going through some things, and we're gonna try to be there for them. So the first person is Mr. Kanye West. So the thing I want to ask you about, I want to tell you and ask you about is Kanye does a lot of things, and the reason why I brought Kanye up because Kanye's what they call a genius, and Kanye to me is a genius. He's very
Mm-hmm.
smart. He know how to articulate himself. I feel like he do a terrible job at. Well, I'll take the articulate back. I feel like he says a lot of things wrong because in his head it sounds right, but the way he's delivering it be bad. It be the message. So what Kanye recently did is Kanye wore a White Lives Matter shirt. Now
Oh.
we know all lives matter, but before all lives matter, Black lives gotta matter because they created the slogan. So the reason why I say that, and I look at this is how I look at Black lives, white lives, and every other life. I look at Black lives and me being Black, you being Black, as we are immediate family. In your house and in your family, you got your immediate family. You got
Mm-hmm.
mom, dad, you got your sister, brothers. That's Black people. And this is
Right.
to me, this is how I look at it. So that's Black people. Then outside of your house, you have your Aunt Peggy, you have your Aunt Janice, and you have your Uncle Leo, you have your Uncle Leroy, and you
I
have
was gonna
all
say
the
Uncle
uncles.
Leroy too.
Yeah. So you have all your uncles and aunts and cousins. Those are white people. We're all family because we all belong to God, but those are my cousins. And
Mm-hmm.
then you got everybody else, other race, religions, and everything else, because we're all God's kids. So we're all family. But you take care of the people in that house first because that's your house. And I feel with Black Lives Matter, that was wrong of him because it was something that came up. It was a certain issues about black people getting murdered, things happening with black people. And I felt it was wrong, regardless of what they did with the money or anything after that. I feel like that was wrong. And I feel like with Kanye, it's a lot of stuff dealing with his mom's death, the marriage. It's always a cry for attention. And I feel like Kanye seeks approval and love and validation from white people. Instead, he's just saying, I'm a genius, I'm great. Thank you for all races and colors that support my brand, my music, and everything. I feel he overshadows that by just looking in this particular area. So even with the Kim K situation where she's not letting me see my kids, she's doing this, she's doing that. And I just feel like when you go through traumatic experiences, you have to seek therapy. It's not, you can't just talk to somebody sometimes. Sometimes it's a deeper thing. So I feel like he never dealt with his mom's situation. And I feel like he don't deal with a lot of life's issues. So give me your take on Kanye.
That is a lot. You just really put a lot on me to
even
process
time.
and think about.
You can
but
pick and
first,
choose from which one.
I want to just address the White Lives Matter shirt. And that's funny because this morning I was on Facebook and I seen that Lil Boosie responded to it immediately. And I watched like a few seconds of what he had to say, but I can't watch that much because then I just be like, all right, this is too much and I gotta scroll past. But with me not knowing why he wore the shirt or what the situation was, like what prompted my questions as a therapist and as an individual would be what prompted him to wear the shirt, what was the motive behind it, what was the situation behind it, what actually made him wake up and say, I'm going to put on a White Lives Matter shirt or I'm going to go get a White Lives Matter shirt made. I would rather see like the video or the picture just to put like a scene in my head. So was he at a concert? Was he just
fashion show?
What he was he was at a fashion show. And was he walking in the show? Yes. Oh, he's selling the shirts.
With Candace Owens.
Okay, so you gotta think about it that way. That's him in another way in his genius mind making money. Like capitalism. Like even when he was supporting Trump, you know, that came with a price behind it. So people looking at it in an emotional perspective and not looking at it logically, like this man is trying to make more money and become wealthier than what he already is. And yeah, I don't know. I didn't feel anything. Like usually if I see stuff and it's like personal or makes me feel the type of, I'll immediately feel it. But when I saw Lil Boosie talking about it, I was just like, yeah, it's probably something behind it. But like you just validated my point. He was selling it at a fashion show. So who's to say that that man feel like white lives matter? You know, he probably don't give a shit about, well, no, probably do because he had a white wife. But anyways, he probably support 100% Black Lives Matter. And he 100% know that, you know, he black and all this other stuff, because I heard a lot of people like, oh, he don't like being black, whatever. Somebody always got something to say about Kanye West, but I don't know. I think he's a genius. I think when he delivers his message, he says it the way he intend for it to come out. I think that what he says makes sense to his head. It makes sense in his head, and when he say it out loud, it makes sense to people who could understand and like see far beyond what he's saying on the surface level. You got to have a different type of mind to even listen to Kanye West and understand like the moves he make in life. So personally and therapeutically, I want to say I don't see nothing wrong with him, but clearly he does need therapy. So I'm not going to say it's nothing wrong with him because he do need therapy. And he probably do seek therapy, but he has a lot going on in his life right now. And he probably need the money to pay child support. Who knows? Because he is going through a divorce. He don't see his kids. So he probably need the money for child support.
He's a billionaire.
Well, I don't know. Shit. I'm just saying, I don't know. I tend to not have opinions on their lives. And But he probably got a lot of people to pay. Y'all don't know that man struggle. He probably is struggling.
Well, I get that. Like, and I understand that. I feel like
if he was just wearing it just to wear on a regular day and just walking outside, like, okay, I'm gonna wake up and choose to put this shirt on, and I'm gonna go march, and I'm going to go protest, and I'm going to, do that. That's a different line that he crossing. But he's selling it at a fashion show. Nobody thought in their mind like, oh, this is another way to make some money.
And I feel like he does things for attention and publicity.
We all do things for attention.
You think so?
Everybody does stuff for attention. Everybody does things.
Oh, I want to hear more
to
about
be seen.
That.
Like,
you think so?
You wake up and you say, I'm going to put on clothes to look nice. You do it for yourself, but you also know that everybody, when you walk outside, going to see you. Nobody, when you choose to walk outside and look like a bum, you know this is what you want to look like today. And you know that probably that attraction. Everybody do stuff consciously and subconsciously for attention.
Oh, that's a good take.
There's no way around it.
I never looked at that.
Every day when you walk outside, when you talk to people, when you say stuff, you do it for something, but attention comes with it. So it's just like naturally it gravitates to you.
That makes a lot of sense.
And he probably extreme. He is 100% dramatic, but a lot of people are.
Let's see. I never looked at it like that. That makes a lot of sense. All right, so the next person is Ray J. And the thing with Ray J's been kind of going back and forth with the Kardashians about the sex tape and whether it was set up on purpose, because he was saying that it basically her mother set up the whole thing, and it was a way to,
I thought that was confirmed.
Well, I don't know that part. I can't speak on that, but I heard that from their camp they've been denying it. Like, this is nothing that we set up on purpose. My mom didn't have nothing to do with it. And right now they're in court, or I heard allegedly they are in court dealing with the situation or everything that happened with it. So the thing with the whole Ray J thing is he released a video basically, sounding like he wanted to commit suicide and just saying like, if it wasn't for my kids, I wouldn't want to be here. I wouldn't want to do this. And he's just been doing a lot of like a crying out for attention. I don't know if the lawsuit stuff or the lies or whatever it is has been bothering him. So what would you say to Ray J? What would be something Ray J needs to do? As far as, do you think he needs to speak to a therapist? Do you think he needs to kind of just fall back from the social media? Do you think he just need to let things handle itself in court? Like, what would you, as a therapist, tell Ray J?
That's a lot to process too. You can think about.
You can speak from any piece of it.
I'm gonna try to unpack all of that. So first, I just want to say we are talking about celebrities who have millions of dollars. Yeah. We are talking about celebrities who've been in TVs and in the spotlight for years, and this is that's their life. So me saying as a therapist that they need therapy, that's just one piece of what they need. Yeah. And then in that lifestyle, it's a lot that comes with it that I don't know nothing about. Yeah. Or a lot of people don't know about what comes with being a celebrity. So I think they need more than therapy. Therapy is just a small piece of what they need. They may need their family. Kanye West need his mama. Yeah. They need their children. They need support, family. You can look in their comments and they get dragged all the time. These are human beings. Rough. Yeah. They're not just celebrities. They're humans. And we put them like on this high pedestal when really they need to be treated just like us. They probably need a hug. Ray J need a hug. Just to experience everything that he went through, even not just with Kim Kardashian, but you can see in social media, he go through a lot with Princess too, and those children. So when we talk about their life, we just need to look at it from a humanistic perspective and not from a celebrity perspective and say, he's seeking attention, or him trying to attempt to commit suicide on social media, which what everybody's saying, like, oh, he just wanted some attention. No, he really probably want to commit suicide.
Yeah.
And nobody should take that as a joke or take it lightly. As a therapist, I would have taken that seriously and sought out help for him. Like, whoever is in his household needs to go check in on him and say, hey, you know, are you okay? What's going on? And he's not okay because, for one, I don't know if what they suing him for or how that's going down, but nobody want to go through court.
Yeah.
They, both of them, Kanye West and Ray J, both fighting for, you know, custody for their kids, to see their kids. That's a lot. Nobody want to be taken away from their children. So as a therapist, I think they need way more than therapy. They need support. They need hugs, friends. They need to learn how to express themselves. They need to do it in a positive way because they fighting against people who have a lot of power, a lot of money. And if it was set up or if it was not set up, that's still just something that he had to experience and go through publicly because it was released to the public. And now you have billions of people with their opinions on their lives. So if I know I get irritated if one person say something to me, imagine a billion people in your comments constantly saying negative things to you. Like, mentally, that's a lot. That's overwhelming.
Yeah. So, with that being said, like, what's your thoughts on social media? Just like, and what I mean by that, like, far as the time we spend, far as like reading the comments, far as oversharing, sharing, like, what's your thoughts on the whole social media thing from a therapist standpoint?
I had to learn a lot about just social media. And I'm still learning this today because oversharing, like the things that you just brought up. So let's say back in 2009 when I may have first opened my Facebook, and you know what the world does now, they pull up your old tweets and use them against you now. So this is what I'm learning. Like, we didn't care about it back then. We didn't care about what we said back then. But now people take social media so serious, and it's just like, I was a kid. Like, I said this when I was a kid, but we also have to understand that, you know, everything we say, you know, can and will be used against us in the court of law and into the social media community. Like, they will use what you said when you was 15 against your thoughts now, knowing that we evolve and we change every day. But far as me being a therapist and on social media, I try to, it's a thin line between me putting my personal business out there and me being professional. But because of my generation, like, we value social media a lot. Like, you got to almost be on Instagram all day making reels. You got to be making video. You got to create content. You got to do all of these things just to go viral. And then going viral, you get monetized. So it's a different, like, now social media is used for, you know, an income versus back then it was just used for funny stuff, fun and joking around and connection. But now it is a serious platform, and I get that. But, I try to stay neutral and share what I can and then not share everything. But I do know that a lot of people, you know, like to follow your journey, or they're inspired by what you went through and they want to see, like, oh, you know, what is this person doing now? So I try to update it. Update people on my life through social media and keep it private.
And that's how I feel I do. I feel like I talk about the things that matter to me. Like, I share my kids, I share my love for fitness. I try to sometimes share my love for sports, music, and work. I work a lot. So a lot of stuff is like stuff, if you know me or you know me in real life, you already know those are things I like. So I can get deep at moments, like if I'm going through some, because I look at it like how you said, like a lot of times I look at it like this my way of helping somebody else.
Right.
Like when I talk about personal things.
That's exactly what I do.
Yeah, like I feel like if I'm having a dark day, I share I'm having a dark day. If I have a post I want to make about my dad or my sisters or the women in my life or my sons, I'm gonna make it.
Right.
You know, I've always been comfortable with sharing my thoughts and opinions. Like I've always been comfortable with that and sharing certain stuff in my life. Like everything ain't meant to be shared on Facebook,
Right.
but for the most part, the way I live my life, I'm an open book anyway. So it's like not nothing that you gonna be like, look, we found this. We knew you do this. I talk about it. I say the music I like. I say the things I like to do. I like art. I like theater. I like reading. I like all the things that wasn't cool back then. I like those things. And I talk about, I like women. I like sports. I watch
think the
porn. Like
problem-
I talk about that stuff.
I think the problem with social media today is that a lot of the older generations don't understand why we express through social media or why, you know, we share so much on the internet. Well, one, you know, families not families how they was back in the day.
Yeah, and that helps.
You would know about your family because you would
say
be
that
with
all
your
the time.
family, around your family, and you will text them and call them all the time. But now the way we're moving, technology is controlling the world and controlling everything. So by us sharing our lives through social media, that's the way we stay connected.
Yeah.
And I think that it's okay when we do it and we understand that we're doing it because we may be impacting, you know, other people and a lot of people see it. But it's like the older generations will be like, why you always putting your business on Facebook? Or you don't need to share, you know, all of that. Because I hear that all the time. My aunts or anybody else call me and be like, take that down. Like
They
if I'm
think
having
you
a
share something? Your PG page?
if I have a dark day, like something like you said, when you had those dark days and you real depressed, like when I'm going through grief, like my sister or somebody else just be like, you know, you don't need to share all of that. You a therapist. And I'm like, well, people need to know that therapists go through things too. Like I am human and I want to be human to people. I don't want to be a robot. And I feel like people who live like that, that's a robot life. And I can't. So,
I feel like that's the way to go because with my therapist, with my pastor, with my doctor, with whoever, like I want to see your human part. Like I want to see the things you go through. I don't want you to come across as like this perfect person.
Exactly.
Because you have things you deal with. You have things you go through. And I like seeing that human side. Like I like seeing those things because it makes me feel like, or to make our kids feel like, oh, my mommy was human. My dad did this. My dad made mistakes.
Right.
My mom made mistakes. And I look at it like, this is like our own documentary. We don't look at it like that. But like years from now, our kids will be able to kind of look back and be like, damn, this is what my dad was talking about. This is what my dad was on. Like, this is the women that my dad talked to. This was the trips my dad took.
You want them to see, like, all the old pictures of you and your exes and stuff?
Yeah. Like, I wanted to be like a movie. See, I don't want nobody. No, I don't want nobody to tell my movie. Like, and that's another thing. I'm not the big delete picture guy. So, like, let's say 5 years ago, I was with this lady. That was a time in my life. Like, if you made my movie, she would be a part of my movie. So why would I take her picture away?
Wow.
Now, if I'm with and I understand some women these days be like, oh, I'm with you. Take off all pictures. Now, if it's that serious or if that's what makes my woman feel like that, I would delete it. But I would let her know this is a part of my journey, and hopefully she will understand that because I get my point across. And I let her know you're number one and you're all that matters, and you would never not feel like number one. So it's like an old picture don't matter. I don't want you to delete your stuff. If you was with Keith in this year, then thanks, Keith, you fucked up. I'm with her now. So I always want to see a picture of Keith, so I won't be Keith. You see what I'm saying?
You got to be reminded of what not to be. Okay.
Yeah, that's ways to stay humble. Like Keith could pop back up. He could have hit the lottery. He could have worked on his body. He could have became a superstar in music. Like I gotta always feel like I gotta work hard to keep my person. I feel like that's what happened in marriage and relationships. We get comfortable. We don't have that fire under us no more. Like, oh, I gotta do this to keep my woman. Oh, I gotta make this money, or I gotta do this, or I gotta send her flowers, or I gotta keep being creative, or I gotta change the positions, or I gotta take her here. We don't do that. We start feeling like she ain't going nowhere. I'm about to go hang with the fellas. or I'm about to, I see her when I see her. I'm about to go do this. So when we have reminders or things that kind of keep us moving, lighting a fire under us, how can it ever go stale? Like, that's how I am when I'm in a relationship. I want to make sure I'm giving you my best. I want to give you 110%. So I'm not going to shortchange you. So when I know that, I'm going to do that. When I see that or hear about that or understand the things that Keith did, like if Keith was that guy who was like, always took you on vacations, always romantic, thoughtful, I'm about to do all that shit plus more because I don't never want you to take a scale back being with me. You see what I'm saying? Because women will do that. Women will be like, oh, yeah, he did this. And whether she doing it on purpose or not, you always recall certain things you enjoyed in a previous relationship.
I see where you going with
you
that.
see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see where you going.
So it's like I want to always stay on top of my stuff and seeing certain things, hearing certain things, and like when I come,
you want your kids and the world to
see that journey, that growth,
the journey.
So it's kind of like remember the Kanye. Well, I don't know if you've seen it, but Kanye had a documentary on Netflix that made everybody kind of be like, oh, this is why we love Kanye. Like, he did one of them started from the bottom videos where it showed him going in studios, begging people to listen to his music, the grind he put in, how hard he worked. Like, people like that shit, but they don't like to see it in that moment. I like to break my shit down in that moment.
Yeah, because a lot of celebrities, we would never know their journey.
Yeah, because we ignore it. We want to see it when you already here.
Right.
I like seeing people journey when they here. That's why certain people, I've always been like a person on social media that follow people I know. So the last 2-3 years, I just started making it my business every couple of months to follow somebody I don't know, a friend of a friend, or somebody I think is interesting. So like what I do is like if I see you into TV, you're an author, you into therapy, I want to follow your journey to see certain stuff. Plus, it helps being a podcaster. Right. It helps with, okay, let me see what they got going on. What can challenge me or put a fire under me? What can inspire me? What can push me? So when I see those things, it's like, okay, yeah, this person is interesting. Like, I'm a documentary dude. I'm a movie dude. I like books that challenge me and open my mind up to thinking. I don't want to think like everybody else. So it's like when you said what you said about Kanye, just about like, yeah, he could be like with therapy and how people need to, they might need a hug from somebody. They might need this attention. That's what I kind of use all those things for, because if you working on being the best, you got to pick and choose and take and do certain stuff from everybody to make, it's like a soup or a gumbo. Like if you know this ingredients can make it go to the next level, then you use that ingredients. So that's how I like plus I want my kids to look back and be like, damn, damn, look how far my dad came.
Right.
Like my dad wasn't shit back then. And I'm not saying me, but my dad was wild. Like my dad made mistakes. Like my dad worked hard. My dad came from here and went here.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
But how I explain it now is back then, things were swept under the rug.
Hell yeah.
We live in the truth. Like we live our truths, and they literally not saying that they live in lies, but they used to sweep stuff under the rug, ignore stuff, bypass it, versus us, we gonna call you out on it. Like, I know a lot of people who, dealt with molestation in their family, and they'll come to therapy now, like people in my generation, and they like, I feel bad for calling it out, but that's what you need to do, because for so long you suppressed it, and so long you ignored it, and the family ignored it, and they get put out the family for speaking up. Yeah. And that's not how it should be. Like that, as a therapist, that's not therapeutically healthy for that, victim. But that's how the generation look at it. Like, you don't speak on that. What goes on in this house stays in this house. And we don't go for that. We don't do that now. Like us, it's like, no, uncle, you touch me and that's it. Like, don't come around me. Like, if you stole from me, don't come to my house. And no, back then they'll just still have these people around, and it's like, no, don't come over here. But we live in our truth. Yeah,
and when we praised back in the day, we did love and appreciate certain things, but it was a lot of bullshit with that. Like, it was a lot of secrets. Grandpa had a secret family on the west side. Like Big Mama cheated on Grandpa here and there. Grandpa did this, or Uncle such and such touched your cousin. Like it was a lot of that, and just even with stealing or money or family stuff, it was just like it would have been perfect to sit in a room and talk about it. It would have been hard because it's always hard.
But it would have been better for everybody mentally. It would have been healthy to have those conversations. But yeah, no. But I see now in the world, those conversations are happening. Like we are literally going back and unpacking all of that trauma and saying, you know, this wasn't right. This wasn't how I was supposed to have been living or raised. I shouldn't have been exposed to that. This is not normal. So we're putting things in places where they belong. Like I don't want my children to experience that. So this is what I'm going to identify as abnormal versus it was all normal. Back in the day growing up.
Now let me ask you this. Do you have an open door policy where your kid can kind of come to you about anything, or your nieces and nephews can kind of come to you and talk about anything?
Yeah. I let them know all the time. I let my son know, and he 4. You can tell me anything. You can talk to me about anything. The way I raised him isn't how I was raised. My son could come to me and he can be like, you know, I don't like it when you yell at me. And I'll just be like, well, I yelled at you.
And we couldn't have never said that.
Or he'll be like, I don't want to talk right now. And I'll just be like, okay, like, I don't want to talk either. If I ask him to do something and he don't feel like it, he can say, I don't feel like it. And I'm going to look at him and be like, okay, you probably don't. You went to school all day. You probably done went and got the remote for me 3 times. I asked you to go to the refrigerator and give me a water. So, yeah, if you don't feel like it right now, I'm going to probably ask again in 2 minutes, or I'm going to negotiate and be like, all right, son, you don't feel like it right now, but can I ask you again in 5 minutes? And he don't know the difference between it. So in 5 seconds, I'll ask him again, and he'll just be like, okay. But, yeah, no, that wouldn't have worked back then.
Yeah, that's crazy. Great conversation, man. See, now you ain't nervous no more. Feels good, don't it?
Yeah, it's natural, but I always got a little bit of nerves.
See, that's smooth. You're doing great. Now the next thing I want to tackle, these next couple ones more so not a therapy thing, but it's just basically your opinion.
Okay.
So like Ume Udoka. Now he's a former basketball player that's a head coach for the Boston Celtics, and he was still is currently dating Nia Long. And what happened with him is by him being a coach and being around a lot of execs and upper management people at the workplace, he had relations with coworkers. And come to find out, now we don't know all the news, and a lot of this is allegedly, but he basically had relations with coworkers, and one of them was married, and he basically got suspended for a whole year.
They could do
no
that?
pay. Oh yeah, they could do that.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and it's one of them. So you know it had to be somebody big if they suspended you for a year without no pay, because if they fire you, they got to pay you your whole money. They got to pay you your money.
Because that's discrimination.
But if we suspend you,
policies.
we can suspend you because you broke like company rules. So we can suspend you for a year and stop you from getting another job, stop you from getting money, and all types of things.
Wow.
Embarrass you. And what they doing is kind of jeopardizing him. You know, they got him in a position where he probably never a coach again, which is sad, but at the end of the day, we all know the rules, and it's tough.
What's the rules?
The rules is like, you know, you got workplace rules, like you can't do certain things. So, fraternizing.
What I'm hearing is what you just said was he slept with somebody that he worked with or co-workers.
Let's say it's said allegedly that it was an owner's wife.
Oh, so not nobody that worked there, the owner's wife.
Oh, he messed with some of them too, allegedly.
Okay. Yeah. And he can't fire him.
No.
Because okay.
It's like
what part of my what opinion?
No, I just like far as like HR policy, far as like what you think is right or wrong, what's your take on it? Like far as like, you know, I'm sure at jobs, have you ever like dated someone at your job or spoke to somebody at your job?
That's funny.
Guilty. It's funny. It is. That shit funny.
That's
Guilty.
funny.
So when you was working at McDonald's, you talked to someone?
Oh, no. I'm going to just tell this story.
Okay, share the story. I just want your take. Go ahead. I want to hear your story.
I don't have no comment on that.
Okay. Because you've been through it.
No. So
I was messing with John on Fridays?
No, I was a police cadet.
Okay.
Right. And one of the officers was interested, and he ended up getting fired. I don't know why he got fired. Probably because we grew a relationship, but he was my trainer and I was the trainee. Okay. And on his shifts, I had privileges. Like, you know, the police officers, they rode in the patrol cars, and the police cadets had to walk around the campus. But me, little old me, I didn't have to walk around the campus. All the calls that I got, I really didn't have to pick up. So I get it. Yeah, no, dating somebody you work with is sticky business. Yeah. You know, you need not to do stuff like that. But it sounds like he was cheating on whoever he was talking to. Yeah. And sleeping with people's wives. So that's a whole different ball game, because what I did was just, you know, we both were single, had nobody else going on. But anyway, I don't know. I don't have no opinion on that. I just think that's a lot. I feel bad for him and his situation, suspended for a whole year. Yeah, that's sad. Then Nia Long, she probably tore up, heartbroken. That's a lot. Yeah, no, I don't have much. We can just move on. We gonna move on.
We are. Thank you for sharing that story.
Because
cadet of the year.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. I'm puzzled at that.
All right, the last one before we get it to you. Now, Cardi, we'll just preface this by saying women in music. Now, I find it funny, and I understand why. Like, I understand the whole dynamic of the whole women in music, because it's always been one woman at a time. And I don't understand why it's not somebody that changes that narrative. It don't have to just be Cardi or Nicki or Meg. It can be all of you guys, just like with the men. It's Jay, it's Wayne, it's Kanye, it's Future, is Ross, is T.I., Lil Baby, Drake. So why can't somebody change the narrative with women? Because recently, Cardi and JT of the City Girls got into it, and it was a whole little catty women thing. But it's like, who is gonna be the woman? And even that's bigger than rap. That's like a woman at your workplace, a woman on your block. Like, what is the whole thing about women getting along with each other? Why women can't just say, hey, I don't rock with you, I'm rock with her? What's so bad about, like, why y'all just can't say, I don't deal with her, I'm going to stay over here? What's the whole
most of the
thing?
time, people, I'm not even going to say women and men or, you know, but people operate out of emotions. People operate out of fear, too. Fear that, you know, what they are doing is going to be taken away from them. So fear that their career will flop or fail, pause, cease, like they won't get no attention or they won't get no play because the next person is coming in the line in the show. So people operate out of emotions, people operate out of fear, and people operate just out of not being able to handle competition. Yeah. So that's three different perspectives of that situation, with me not even knowing what happened.
You hit that on the head.
What the argument was about. Didn't see it, have no idea. But far as the music industry, like, again, those celebrity lanes, I try not to get into, because it's way deeper than just what we know on the surface level. You know, that could be in like contracts that they got to have this amount of albums, or they got to have this amount of sales, or they won't get paid. So when they do see competition, that interferes with whatever money that they got on the table. So they have to, you know, be combative. They have to be fearful. They have to, you know, cuss out their competition. So we don't know. It could be way more than what's presented to us.
Or you could change the narrative. You could say, hey, let's both do an album together. Let's go on tour together. let's say let us both do a reality show. Let's do a mixtape where we go.
But that
against each other.
sounds like rainbows and all of that. But listen, what if they contract says that they can't do features? What if they contract says they can't,
you think they
gotta, I don't know. Like some people be having some crazy contracts. They gotta have this amount of albums, make this amount of songs, and they gotta do X, Y, and Z. And when you bring on somebody else to take that shine, that takes away your money out your pocket. I don't know how the industry contracts work, but I know that the industry is a different lane and a different field, and it's like politics. Like we can't get into their business. Whatever they mad about, I hope they figure it out. Yeah.
Okay, good take.
I hope that's a good take because I don't have much to offer about Cardi, JT, and none of them. I hope they figure it out. It's always sad to see, women bashing each other or going off on each other. But I'm going to just share this so I can have some more insight on your topics. I don't want you to feel like I'm just clueless over here. But I seen a post and it talked about how Nicki was in the game for the past, 8 years and it was nobody else. So she has this only child syndrome. That's what they call
Good
it.
way to put
She
it.
have the only child syndrome because for so long she was the only one making albums, the only one creating music, the only one in the industry. So now when she don't know how to handle her siblings, she don't know how to handle competition because she been our only child. So that was a good way to put it out there, and I think that made the most sense because she was the only one for a long time. And then you got to think about it. It's probably overwhelming for her. It's probably overwhelming for everybody else because now you got Meg Thee Stallion coming out. You got the City Girls, and then you got Erica Banks, which her and Meg got into it because they had the same style or the same manager or whatever. But that's what's going on in the industry. They taking beats, taking styles. Even with, I think Dej Loaf was mad at, I don't know that girl name. What's the one who sound like Dej Loaf? Is it Coi Leray?
I think so.
Yeah, her. So they had got into it. So it's like a lot of stuff that goes on with them, like stealing styles, music, songs, beats. It's hard to try to get along in a hostile and chaotic environment. It's already presented to them to be chaotic. It's already expected for them to not get along, especially when you have managers who selling your stuff to somebody else. So, and then they operating out of those three things: emotions, fear, and I forgot the third one I said, but
I get it. So what's your relationship like with women? Do you have a lot of women friends? Do you have more guy friends? Is it mixed? Like, what's your relationship with women and friendships?
That's that's interesting. I never sat down and thought about that.
Yeah. We got time.
My relationship with women, I think I have I've been told that I have I don't know how to put this, a welcoming spirit or friendly.
You embrace women.
Yeah. And I attraction, like, I think when I walk into a room, it's just like peace, or I give off love.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm welcoming. Okay. So I want to say I'm not gonna lie and say I never had issues with women because stuff always do come up.
Yeah.
But it's not like I don't think nobody hate me right now.
For the most part, you okay with women?
Yeah, okay. I'm okay with women. My friendships, we're able to talk and figure things out. I have 2 best friends. Maybe.
Don't get that number wrong.
Don't get the number wrong. Then they gonna get the text to me like, you forgot about me. I'm not even gonna say no names.
Don't say no names.
But
I ain't gonna let you.
I have really great friends. Really great friends. Girlfriends. I got friends for everything. Like women who, you can go hang out with.
Yeah.
you can go to the bar with, you can pray with. I got friends you could say, all right, girl, let's go egg this marriage.
We gonna slash the tires.
But I don't do stuff like that. I don't. Let me just make that disclaimer. Let me just make that disclaimer. I don't do stuff, but if I needed to, I have a few people that I could call. So I have good relationships with women. Men, I'll say the same. It's neutral.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. That's all right. All right, now we're going to talk about you. Let's talk about you. Dun, 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 dun.
What about me?
Not no bad stuff. I pulled up these things on Facebook that I thought was real bad. So I'm just
real bad.
But no, like the first thing, let's talk about, tell me a little bit about your master's degree. Like, was it hard? Was it challenging? Was it rewarding when you got it? Like, what was the journey and the process like to you?
The master's degree?
Yeah.
That was a long journey. You know, you got to get the associates and then the bachelor's and then the master's. So you want me to take you from the beginning or just the master's? I
mean, just your thoughts on anything you want to talk about as far as it. Because, like, I mean, they could do their research, but, I mean, but just, like, your journey. You could tell me what's your thoughts that come with it. Like, what's the first thing you think of when you think of your master's? That's what I want to know. The things I'm about to ask you now, I just want to kind of know your thoughts and what comes to mind first. The first things that come to mind when you think of those things. So,
when
like,
I think of masters, or when I realize that I have a master's degree and I see it, it's a humbling experience because I've always knew that I was going to get a master's. I've always known that
talk that shit.
I was going to pursue higher education.
Yeah.
But to actually see it and accomplish it, and then with everything that I experienced on a journey to getting my master's, when I see it, it's just like, oh, wow, you really got a master's degree. Yeah. And you're really a therapist. Sometimes I have to wake up and remind myself, you are a therapist. So, you know, it's certain things and certain stuff, you know, you have to behave wise and attitude wise. And sometimes I have to take a step back in therapy but the journey to getting my master's, the one thing I will say is, you know, if you got a dream or you have a goal, you just got to remain focused on that, like tunnel vision. Yeah. And a lot of people that's close to me would say that if I'm focused on something or I'm experienced, I get mean. But I'm not a mean person. It's just that if I have a goal or I have my mind set on something, like I can easily cut off everything around me and until I get to where I need to be.
No wrong with that. You gotta get focused.
When I was in my master's program, it was just like, nobody around me mattered. Like birthdays didn't matter, holidays didn't matter, nothing mattered but school. So, yeah, that's what I would have to say about my master's degree.
Okay, the next thing, therapy.
I talked about that. I just did.
No, but like first things that come to mind for us therapy. Whether it's you going to therapy, family need to go to therapy, therapy period.
That's crazy because when you said therapy, I thought about me going to therapy because I do go to therapy. Yeah. And I became a therapist because I knew that I needed therapy. Okay. I started my program in the summer of 2017. And originally I just wanted to focus on marriage, couples, and families. Okay. But I'm like, no, don't limit yourself to that, you know. Think big. Yeah. And I always go for like things where it's broad and I could do anything, any field. So I got a general counseling degree. That way I can navigate through marriage, couples, families, individuals, women, men, all of that. So in the program, I ended up, a lot of stuff happened in between me switching programs. That's a whole different story. But I finally found that one. And when I heard therapy, I was able to therapy myself while in school and get outside therapy and continue to therapy people. So therapy is my happy place. It's
I like that.
The passion, the drive. Like I'm happy in my sessions. I'm in tunnel vision in my sessions. Yeah. My phone is off in my sessions. Like don't talk to me, don't bother me while I'm in my sessions. And my clients are my babies.
I like that.
Every client is my baby, my child, my aunts, uncles. This is my family.
Yeah.
I take them on as my people, my community.
I like that. That's dope. See, we getting it out of here. Next thing, breastfeeding.
First thing that always comes to mind is just life. I think a lot of people miss the whole importance of breastfeeding.
Yeah.
Even with men, and I don't know because you got children. I don't know if your children were.
First 2 kids was.
Okay.
Yeah.
And society just don't make it important as much as it should be. So I was the first person in my family to breastfeed, and I breastfed my son till he was.
You was the first person.
I breastfed him till he was about 3.
Hold on.
You just say hold on.
3 months?
No, 3 years old to about 3 years old.
3 years old?
Yeah, he was like 3
Why 3
3
years
months
old?
shy of 3.
Why you do that?
Because you got to understand it's a lot of benefits when you breastfeed a toddler. It's a lot of benefits when you extend it past 1 year old.
Okay. Break that down, yeah.
Okay, so one, when I found out I was pregnant, I already knew that I was doing everything differently.
Okay.
And when I say I knew these things, like I just knew it. Like it was just naturally in me. I'm like, oh, I'm going to have my baby naturally. I'm not going to get an epidural. I'm not going to use formula. That? Yeah.
You a G, man.
I have my baby naturally. No medications, no pain meds, no IV, nothing.
Oh, you just a trooper.
Me, my body in a queen size bed. So yeah, I already knew that this is what I was going to do. And I used a lot of different techniques, which I teach now.
Okay.
I use hypnobirthing, and I really swear by hypnobirthing. Okay. I used it. I teach it now. I'm certified. So back to breastfeeding. I knew nothing about it. My family knew nothing about what I was talking about, what I wanted to do, and I kind of had to go through this alone. Now, everybody will say I was mean because I had tunnel vision, but I had to learn these things so I can accomplish what I wanted to accomplish. Yeah. And it was a process. So I took a lot of breastfeeding classes. I went to a lot of educational seminars. I hired doulas. I was just driving around the community on the east side, west side, talking to people who breastfed. I created that environment. So I changed my mind, and then I changed my environment, and I went around people who understood what I was talking about, who wanted to do what I was talking about.
All right, real quick, because I don't want to forget this. What's a doula?
So I am a doula now. Like the same thing that I hired, I became. Okay. So that's a labor and birth or postpartum person who supports a pregnant mom. Okay. Throughout the whole entire pregnancy. So they can come with you to your prenatal visits. They could, teach you comfort measures. They do different massages, and they teach dads too how to support mom during the labor and birth. So yeah, they help you get to that natural birth or whatever you desire your birth to look like. Yeah. So if you have a planned C-section, you can use a doula as well to support you. So we do mental, physical, emotional, just help providing you resources, education, and information so you can get whatever it is that you want in life for your pregnancy or after you have your baby. So, yeah, I just knew I was doing everything differently. Everybody kept looking at me weird, like, nobody breastfeed or you gonna need an epidural. I heard so many stories, but I did. My son never had formula. And I had
you saved a lot of fucking money.
Yeah, that's what I kept telling people.
That's a lot of money you saved.
I don't want to go through all of that. And definitely during the pandemic, like a lot of people ran out of formula and the stores ran out of it. And what are you gonna do now? Yeah. But I am so happy that I was able to, give life. And I always use this. I gave life, and then I also gave him life again through food and nutrition, because for one whole year he just relied on me. And every time I went to his doctor's appointments and he would gain a pound, that was me. Like that empowered me. That gave me a lot of power as a woman and as a
deeper connection.
A mother. Yeah, understanding that you is 15 pounds because you got my milk. Like, mommy's milk gave you this. I give you life. And I say that all the time. Like, people be like, oh, people who breastfeed think they superwoman. I am a superwoman. Like, I really am. I'm very much a superwoman. I got powers. I'm magical. I'm mystical. I'm everything. Like, I literally gave life to a child and then turned around and gave him life again. I sustained his life. I maintained his life. When he was sick, I cured him through breast milk. When he was sad, I could shut him up with a breast. When he having an emotional breakdown, I could control that with breast milk. And a lot of people, like my son's temperament, and when I say I breastfed him after 12 months, it's because that helps with the emotional regulation. It helps with, their behavior, their attitudes, the temperament. And when I say he's the coolest, calmest kid, he not gonna be falling out in Walmart or in Target. It was perfect.
I like that, and I like that your post that you made. Like, I thought that was beautiful and it was dope. And I really believe all those things because, like I said, my first two kids was my third one wasn't. But I think in our community, and it could be deeper than our community. I feel like what we hear the most is, "Oh, it hurt. I don't got the time," but we don't understand what it saves your kid from, whether it's allergies, whether it's getting sick, whether it's all that. Like, my two oldest sons never, like me, never was sick, never went through certain stuff, never did a lot of stuff, calm, cool, collective. So I saw all those things in my two oldest sons, and it was just like, damn, like, I've never got sick. I've probably been to the hospital as a kid once. So it's like besides getting stitches or doing boy shit, nothing, no sicknesses, no health issues, no nothing. So it's like with my sons, I saw that all the way with them. And the more we did research on learning what it was about, and it was just like, damn, why they don't tell you that? Like, they just be like, oh, it hurt. That's the only thing they talk about. It hurt, and you gotta the store the milk. They don't break down all the good parts to that story. They don't do that.
It's not a lot of organizations that is here and they teach breastfeeding. And on one hand, I say the healthcare system suck, but then on the other hand, I hold people accountable.
You gotta do your research.
You got pregnant. This is your baby. This is your child. That's not the doctor's child. So he can say, or she doctor could say, you should breastfeed. But they don't have the time to actually teach you these things. So it's on you to go get that education. It's on you to, train yourself, teach yourself about it. And like I said, it's only about a handful of people that do it. I personally love it. I love everything about breastfeeding, and I do try to tell people and educate them the importance on it. It does help reduce the risk of SIDS, which is sudden infant death syndrome. It does reduce the risk of asthma, allergies. It does reduce the risk of high blood pressure, diabetes, and everything that our culture is high risk at. So when I breastfed him, I knew that I was reducing all of those risks for my child. And like I said, when he was sick, I cured him. Like, it was rare for him to have hospital visits, ear infections, non-existent, flu, non-existent. Like, he was okay because I knew that I was providing milk that was going to change for whatever nutrients he needed. And that's the whole importance of breast milk. And it shouldn't hurt. So when it does hurt, you're either doing something wrong or baby latch wrong. It could be a ton of different things. But if you sit down and talk to somebody or get a lactation consultant or a breastfeeding person to help you, it could be easy peasy. And people think that they giving up their life. I lived the life while I was breastfeeding. When I say I lived, I was able to do exactly what I do now. Like, on the everyday life, go to work full time, go to work part time, go to school. This is a great one. I was breastfeeding my son. I was in a full-time master's program. I was working a full-time job. I was a full-time single parent, like single parent, just me and him. And I was doing a lot. I was going on trips. I was able to go wherever I wanted to go, hang out on the weekends. But a lot of people say like, oh, I can't breastfeed because I'm not going to have a life. Oh, I had a life and I still was able to give my son only milk for a full year. So that's when I be trying to tell people like, no, and then you can do it. You can do whatever you want to do while you breastfeeding.
Yeah, that's dope. Superwoman. Yeah. You talk about what are we going to talk about? So leading into that, tell me about single life. What's single life been like to you?
All right, listen, I just want to ask you this. What made you assume I was single?
Because you said you were single. Or I seen your thing that said you were single.
I think you just assumed I was single.
Maybe I did. Because usually women in a relationship, and this could be just some social media guy shit, but usually a woman in a relationship, y'all change y'all post, y'all update y'all shit before a guy do. Like a guy be in a full relationship, his shit still say single until you get that pressure like, you're not single, change that shit. Oh. But a woman usually changes her stuff. So if you're not single, my mistake, I assume you were single. Are you single?
I'm 100% single.
What the hell we go through all that? Why the hell we go through all that? I know a single woman when I talk to a single woman. No diss. I'm just saying, I know a single woman.
What do a single woman look like?
No, I know by the conversations and certain stuff. As a woman...
So what did I say that made you assume I was single?
I'm going to tell you. When a woman's speaking as if... A woman's in a relationship going to speak as if she in a relationship. She going to say certain things. She going to talk about single life like that's a whole nother thing. She's not going to associate single life. Like she going to separate single life from relationship life. She's going to talk about her person. Somehow she's going to include...
so you saying a person who is not single would have let it be known that she wasn't single?
Yeah, like, whether indirectly or directly.
Off rip.
No.
If I was in a relationship, I would have mentioned my person.
No, far as a conversation.
Okay.
Not even intentional, like just unintentional.
Right.
Like when you, even when I do the podcast, when I ask somebody on, like, it's just a whole form. Like, I understand and I know because I read between the lines. And you know we Virgos. So, like, we pay attention to detail. So, if you was in a relationship, I would know you in a relationship just by our conversation or how certain things go.
Okay. So, I'm going to just piggyback off of some things you said.
Go ahead.
This is only because I'm trying to figure out how do people behave in a relationship, because when I get in a relationship, I want to make sure I behave like I'm in a relationship. And you said if I was in a relationship, you would have known. So
by those things I just said, like for instance, like one, I feel like Facebook wouldn't say single.
Okay.
Because y'all take pride in changing y'all shit. We don't care.
But okay.
Okay, well, you different. But most women take pride in changing their single stuff. Mm-hmm. Two, the conversation would be different. You wouldn't speak as a single woman. You would speak as a relationship person, and you would state back when I was single. You would use that a lot. When women in relationships kind of look back at to when they were single.
Okay.
Whether they talking about stories or not. And then when we was talking about certain things and just the whole dynamic of me, like, and this not no ego shit, but typically a woman in a relationship, she kind of make it be known she's in a relationship because I know that the women that I had on this show, and I have a lot of married women, I had women in relationships. I know when they're in a relationship and when they're not because it's gonna be a conversation. I could tell when
about they person.
I could tell when they probably had to go through their person. I could tell when it's like the person in the car. I could tell when the person coming here. I can kind of tell. So that's what I mean by that. And it's just like, it's not no bad thing.
Let you have it.
No, it's not no bad thing. Like even with a single woman who come on, like I could tell she's single. She gonna talk about certain stuff. Not saying you did any of those things. What I'm saying is,
what type of single am I? Since you know.
I never said that. Now you trying
I'm curious.
No,
what type of single am I?
I'm not saying you put a single Batman signal out there. I'm not saying you did that. What I'm saying is I could just tell you single.
All right. Yes, I'm single.
Yeah.
And what was the question?
It's okay. I'm single too. It's not no knock on us because you an amazing woman. I'm an amazing dude. Like, you could tell people, put it like this, and I always tell people, you guys, I'm talking to y'all right now. I can always tell and read through the fluff and the bullshit when people single. See, a lot of us are single because we good people and we taking our time to make the decision right. We taking our time either working on ourselves or we getting out of a situation or we trying to prove ourselves for the person we're getting ready to marry or want to be with. We making sure we're prepared for that. Then you got people who just on thotty season. They just want to have fun and wild out and go through their whole phase. I can separate all those people each time. Through one conversation, I could just separate everybody into that group. So with you, I just feel you're one of them women that you're a mother. Mm-hmm. You got your own business. You're doing stuff. You're preparing yourself for whoever God sent to you. You kind of doing what I'm doing, like waiting for God to send that person, and you will react to that relationship when it happened. So you're open to dating, you're open to anything, but it's kind of gonna have to be one of them things where God say, "This is for you. Open the door. Come here. Open the door. Make time for this person. Talk to this person more. Be open to doing things." That's how I am now. Like, I'm not racing to get in a relationship. Mm-hmm. I'm not looking for a relationship. Do I want to be in one? Do I want to be in love? Do I want my next person to be my forever person? Yes. But I'm not looking. I'm taking my time and I'm improving every aspect of me so I can be that person. So I can be that person that I can marry the next person I'm with. I want the person who's forever.
Right.
So I'm at a point in my life, I'm not going through no hoe phase. I'm not going through no fun phase. I'm all about my business, my kids, my money. But if that person come along and we can hit it off, then I'm willing to do whatever it takes to be with that person. But I'm not looking, and I'm not saying I'm not against fun either. I'm not against hanging out with people, but That's not my first priority. So with you, I get the same things with you. And then with little posts like, "Oh God, the next man that I be with, I want him to do this. Look at this picture, this video. This is what I want my next dude to do." Those are all hints and clues.
Oh, that's how you know I'm single. All right. But no, I can piggyback off of that because a lot of that made a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But the first thing I wanted to ask was, how long have you been single?
Since like my last relationship ended like last year, July, August.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, about June, July.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't take you that long to get to that point where you like, okay, was it what made you take the perspective to say, I'm going to prepare myself for, my wife, or I'm going to prepare myself for my next relationship? What made you have that reality check with self and say, maybe it's something in me that's not sustaining my relationships?
I felt like with the relationship prior to that relationship, I did that. And I felt like I was at the point where I did everything I could do as far as myself inside and out that I could do for that relationship. I just felt like that wasn't the relationship God wanted me to be in. So even though I felt I did good in that situation, I still found things that therapy-wise and personal-wise I could do different. That I've accepted fault in some of the things I did. I could have been a little passive in certain situations. Mm-hmm. I don't want to argue or go through that whole phase where we mad. I don't like to go to bed angry. So if I can avoid an argument by not talking about something, pushing it to later, or kind of reassuring you that you have nothing to worry about, I felt I did that too much. I felt like a lot of times when you with a person, you let them know, hey, you make sure they feel comfortable. But it's not your job to, "Oh, baby, you good? Did I do this?" We don't supposed to do that. We supposed to do everything we supposed to do in our power to being a good person, and we let the chips fall where they may. We don't supposed to be like, if you feel insecure about yourself and we walk in the room and women look at me, I can't help that women looking at me. I'm attractive. Mm-hmm. Newsflash, you can't be with a person like me or a person like you and think guys not going to look at you. I take pride in that. I like walking in the room and everybody looking at my woman. I don't care what my woman wear. I don't care if my woman go out. I don't care about none of that. Because if I don't feel comfortable with that, you wouldn't be my woman.
Right.
So if I can't give you the freedom and have you do whatever you want to do, then I don't need to be with you. So that's how I look at it like that. And I felt like I did those things. I did my part. I just feel like God was saying this just ain't the situation for neither one of y'all. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that with me.
Yeah, I'm an open book.
Just deflected though.
I know you did.
Like reverse psychology. But I could just share a little bit.
And then we're gonna wrap it up because we've been talking. We gotta finish this conversation.
So some of what you said was true. I'm not open to dating. I feel like right now, this phase in my life, I think that's a distraction for me with everything that I have going on. So this year, like the past couple of months, I cut off dating because for a long time I've been dating. I've been single since 2017.
Okay.
So, and it's been up and down, but for the most part, I am at that part where it's like I want to prepare myself for what God has sent it to me. I want to make sure that I'm in a place where, I'm not mishandling my blessing, or, I don't know how to handle X, Y, and Z. So I kind of just been focusing on me to figure out, when the right one. Like, I have a saying that when you know.
I feel that
like,
too.
I think that when that person comes, it wouldn't be no question about it.
Yeah,
and God gonna be like, this the one.
You're gonna do things that you might not want to do or usually do.
Yeah, I said that if and when I get proposed to, I'ma ask, like, did God tell you to do this? Because if he didn't, then no. But if he did, then it's a yes. But if he didn't come to you and say that this is your wife and this is it and she the one, don't propose to me, because I don't want to go into another failed relationship. I don't want to get married just to get married. I want to get married because this is who I'm supposed to be with. This is my person. But yeah, that was interesting for you to bring that up.
Yeah, because I feel like a lot of times, like, we just hop in relationship to relationships, and I feel like a lot of times when we get out of situations, we don't do the work. Whether it's ourselves or being better at certain things, we don't sit back and take accountability. We don't look at things we could have did different. Things we could have handled a certain way. We don't look at certain things, because I feel like, and when I tell people that, they be like, well, it's a big ego. No, I did everything. I talked to the elders. I talked to the pastor. I went to therapy. I did individual stuff. I included family. After you do all that, it ain't nothing else to do. Like, that's the trifecta. Like, that's the Mount Rushmore.
You got to make sure your person is doing all of that too.
That too. And not just saying yes to shit. Like, if I'm asking you, if I'm taking you to church, I'm telling you, join when you want to join. If this ain't where you want to be, or you don't feel this, you don't feel this. Let me know you don't feel this.
Right. And you got to be able to say, like, hey, babe, this is not my church
I don't want to
home.
go this Sunday, and this ain't home.
This not my church home.
Yeah, and I'm
this
comfortable
is your church
with that.
home. Maybe I can go venture off somewhere else.
And I'm not mad at that, because I don't believe in the old school way. It's like the whole family got to go here. I don't believe that. Like, that's just me personally. I do believe we should be in there. I don't feel like we have to all be in there as one unit. You could go this place, I go to this place. We can rotate places. We can do this.
Rotate.
We can.
We can pick Sundays. Like, here we're at my home
I don't feel we gotta, like, nobody. Who made that up where you gotta be here every Sunday at this place? I might want to go visit. Like, I've always been a visitor. I've always visited.
I'm a visitor.
Yeah, I visit my auntie
Sound
church.
like Papa was a Rolling Stone.
Yeah, but I always visited my auntie church, friends church, family church, and kept my home. But I feel like
you need some consistency.
No, I got consistency. You know where my church at, but I'm just saying I like going different places. Because I love the Lord. I want to hear how you present the Lord.
I think that's just like something like
Because me personally, I don't think nobody better than my pastor, but I'm just saying, like, I like hearing different people.
All right. So what I was saying was that's probably like a personal personality trait to, always be curious about what other people are teaching. Always be curious about what other churches are talking about or how they deliver the message. Yeah. And that just might be just like a personal thing for you, because you say, I'm a visitor, I like to visit. No,
I'm talking about before I had my home.
Okay. Yeah. It's probably just like, I'm like, in my head it's curiosity, and Yeah.
And that was more so before I had my home, because what happened was the church that I grew up in, our pastor passed away at 91. So it's like it went like 4 or 5, maybe a little bit more years before I had an actual home that I would just visit certain places, and I wanted to take my time finding a new home. So even before then, I still went to different places, but not as much.
Mm-hmm.
I've looked at it like if I was when I was a free agent. When I was a free agent, I went different places because I wanted to have that conversation with God, like, where do I belong? Where's home? Where do I belong? And then it came to me. It wasn't just like this was familiar and everything. Hey, do I got 1 more minute left? Okay, I'm gonna wrap it up in 1 more minute. I don't want to go past the time, but I just looked at it like I want this next place. I want to be home and where I grow and where I stay. So when it became home, it was just like, okay, I'm at home. Mm-hmm. But every now and then I want to go to a family member house and see what's going on over here.
Right.
I don't have to do it as much as I did when I was a free agent, but
okay,
that's what I mean by that.
All right. So you are consistent at where
yeah. It's only home, like this home.
Okay.
But you go eat over family house sometime. Like you go.
I stay home.
You know what I mean.
I'm home. Like when I'm home, I'm home.
Yeah, but so real quick, we're gonna wrap this up because I see we both get taught, which is good. But so tell me about the Great Divine Center business. I said that all jacked up, but you know what I mean.
Nope. So you said it right. It's the Great Divine Center. That's my business. I am on East Warren and Casual, and I do
East Side.
Yes, East Side. That is where I'm from. East Warren to be exact. But yeah, I do clinical mental health counseling. I do labor and birth doula support. I am also a certified hypnobirthing educator. I do placenta encapsulations, and I also have a nonprofit organization called God is Great, where I give out free diapers, wipes, pack and plays, and teach safe sleep classes. So at the Great Divine Center, on my left, we have my administration side, which is where I do all of my therapy and all my just office work. And then on the right side, I have a studio. So I own a dance studio as well. And at the studio, if people don't feel comfortable doing individual therapy, psychotherapy 101, I give them the option to say, hey, I want to do dance, yoga, or meditation. So they'll have the option to do that type of therapy because I want my community in that neighborhood, in the hood, like I want my people to feel comfortable to express. I want them to be comfortable to, go through that childhood trauma, to challenge their mental health and to get help. So you got two options: sit and talk to me for individual therapy, or to go inside the studio and break it down with some dance moves, whatever it is you feel comfortable with. In the studio, you can also host an event, a birthday party, gender reveal, whatever it is. It can hold up to 50 people. Nice, intimate space. And yeah, that's it. Come check me out.
She's fucking amazing, people. Y'all hear all that? And she was wondering what we was going to talk about. Swiss Army knife right here. But yeah, that's what's up, man. And, real quick, talk about the community Halloween event.
Oh, so yeah, I forgot about that. I do a lot of community events. My next one is October the 28th. This is my 3rd annual community Halloween day. We'll have hay rides. We bring in a cider meal to the city because I know a lot of the families don't have access to transportation to go far out. So cider meal coming on East Warren. We got hay rides. We will do s'mores with the fire pit, arts and crafts, dance party, and best Halloween costume. And we're doing trunk or treat. So about 10 to 15 cars will be passing out the candy. And if you come late and you're not there for trunk or treat, I will also have Halloween baskets full of candy for the kids. So safe place for the family to come out and have fun.
Now, if somebody want to follow you or find any of this thing, how can they do that?
So I do have an Instagram, and it is Great Divine Center, literally GreatDivinecenter, Great Divine Center on Instagram. On Facebook, it is the Great Divine Center with the in the name. And on Instagram, it's God is Great with 2 underscores. And on Facebook, it is just God is Great. My website will be up in about a month or so. But if you want to know about all my events, how to get services, you can follow me on Facebook or Instagram.
And I repost a lot of it on my page, so you guys can follow that. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me. You were great, man. Thank you.
Oh, he was dope. So you guys will be back October 30th. I'm taking 2 weeks off. We'll be back October 30th. I'll be making my winner list for the rest of this year. So anybody that want to come on the podcast, hopefully she comes back. She will come back.
I'm coming back married. Yeah. So you can hear what I gotta say. And you can see that I'm a married woman now.
Yeah, she's going to come back married. But before she's married too, unless it happens in 2-3 weeks. But yeah, so I'll be having Deborah on soon. I ain't forgot about you, Deborah. Juan, I ain't forgot about you. And anybody else that want to be on, please send me a message, inbox, DM, text me, however you can. I'm getting my list ready for November, December. So hit me up. And if you want to be a guest, come watch behind the scenes. Hit me up. Thank you guys for watching the Wild That's Crazy podcast. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you, Taylor. Thank you, Kyle. Thank you, everybody. Please enjoy your time. Be safe. Make sure you're being careful. And make somebody smile, people. Enjoy your week and be safe.